Welcome to the Longest Turn Board Gaming Podcast. This is Snapshot Episode 9. My name is Kevin.
Hello, this is Tyson.
This is Tyler.
In this Snapshot episode, we take a quick look at the game Witch's Brew. We'll give a short overview of the rules, theme, what we like about the game, and where you can find it. Is this game a good fit for your friends and family? Stick around to get our thoughts because we're ready to jump into Witch's Brew. So to start out these episodes, we like to do a quick rundown of the rules, and Vampire Tyler is going to do that.
Yeah. Witch's Brew is designed by Andreas Pelikan with art by Julian Delval and Harold Leisk. It is out of print but was originally published by Aaliyah. Witch's Brew is a resource management, bluffing-ish card game for 3 to 5 players played over a series of rounds where all players will have the same set of 12 roll cards. Each card has a full reward and a lesser reward that allow players to do one of the following things: gather resources, brew potion cards, use the current round spell, steal gold or ingredients to purchase a potion shelf card, or trade resources for vials, gold, or ingredients. Each round, players simultaneously select 5 of the 12 roll cards to create their hand. Then the designated first player plays a card from their hand and states they are the character on that card. In turn order, players will pass if they don't have that card in their hand. If they do, they play their card and have a choice of taking a risk and declaring themselves that character, or immediately taking that card's lesser reward by saying, "So be it." The last player to declare themselves the character wins, taking the full action described on the card and nullifies any previous player's claim to that reward. That player then plays one of their other cards from their hand, and the round continues in this manner until all cards in players' hands of 5 have been played. Some potion and potion shelf cards have ravens on them. If 4 or more cards with ravens have been purchased by the end of a round, vials and points on cards are tallied up and the winner is determined. Otherwise, the players select a new hand of cards and a new round begins.
Thank you, Tyler, for that wonderful rules rundown. So, Witch's Brew, we've been playing Witch's Brew for years. There is a lot to like about this game. What are some of the things you like about Witch's Brew?
Witch's Brew is a game that you guys have been playing a lot longer than I've been playing. And so you introduced this game to me well after you had been playing it for a while. And at first, I remember seeing the artwork and the cover of this game and being like, what is this game really going to offer me? And as soon as we started playing it, it very quickly became apparent to me that there was this kind of resource management system going on that was doing some very exciting things about when do I decide to claim that I am the herb collector, or
Herbie,
or do I say let you be the herb collector and I get the little
you get the
minor payout,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And I quickly was like, no, I always want to be the herb collector in this game early on, and I realized, if I don't let you have it sometimes, I get nothing, and I just wasted some turns. Yep. And it's an interesting way to play this game. I really like that aspect of this game.
You potentially get nothing, right? And I guess if you win, this is an interesting thing about it too, right? If you win, then you start the next round. Being first in this game is horrible.
It's the worst.
You have to declare what you are. You can't take the favor, and you're getting rid of a card you're going to lose almost every time, right? So that decision of, am I going to say so be it, or am I going to say I am because I may win? That it's just a fascinating decision to me. That whole decision process, I think it's really cool.
For me, one of my favorite parts is selecting my roll cards at the beginning of the round, because you have 12 choices. There's things that you clearly want to do. It's this weird, two-way Venn diagram of what is everybody not going to select and what do I need to select? And there's this little, the sliver of these cards that you got to figure them out. And I think it's group dependent. You start to notice patterns of how people play. And there's times where you select a hand of cards, and this doesn't happen very often, but everybody else will be playing their cards, and you're not using any of yours. You don't have any of the cards that other people have played. And then at the end of the round, you're just slapping them down, taking all the rewards, and that's such a good feeling. And then there's other times where it's like, I'm picking, I picked all these cards, and if everything lines up perfectly and they are played in this order, I can make some really cool things happen. And then Kevin leads with the wrong card, and it's the
plans are destroyed.
Yes, your plans are ruined for the round.
Yeah, or it could go the other way, like you said, and it could work out perfectly, which is an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, that's really cool.
But even when it's like, oh, I just picked all the same cards as the person right before me or right after me, and it's going all wrong, it's like, that's funny. What were the chances of that? And it's kind of a fun experience. And it doesn't, you just have to think, how do I do that or not do that again, so that next round I can improve on that. And then that next round, somebody does the exact same thing that you do to defer. And it's just, I think there's a lot of like good times in this game, that like loud laughter, fun kind of experiences with it.
Yeah. Going back to, when you're deciding whether or not to say, I am the whatever, that decision, when you're brewing a potion and you can say, so be it, brew that potion before the person that comes after you. Do it. You immediately get to do it. And you can look at resources around the table and say, if I brew this potion now, then if somebody says so be it after, they can't brew that potion, right? So as you play more, there's little nuances in this game that become apparent.
Yeah.
As you're paying attention to what everybody else is doing around the table, that are really interesting and really cool.
There's 3 types of potions, and they each get progressively more expensive as potions get brewed in those stacks. So that is an awesome aspect. I love that. You steal the favor or do the so be it, brew it, and then they're
kind of out of luck.
And they still have to start the next the next hand.
It's a slap in the face, but it can be a kind of a fun, cool moment,
And I know we already mentioned it, that whole start the next round thing, but I think timing in this game is so critical and so important, that I love when a game can make you think, if I can order this just right, kind of like you were saying, Tyler, but if I can get this just right and get it out, it makes that feel super rewarding. But that timing can be an experience that you don't. I don't. It reminds me of other games like honestly Pulsar's. Like, even though they're completely vastly different games and they're not even remotely the same, but like the tension I feel in playing Pulsar to get first is kind of the opposite of what I feel here. Is I don't want to get first in this game, and player order is so critical.
Well, and you get to those points where when you're the first player and you've got like 2 cards left, and it's like, okay, which one of these do I want to play now so that I can hopefully get the full reward on the other one?
Yeah. I also like in this game how there's kind of a mechanic to dissuade people from hoarding resources, whether that's the money or the resources that you use to brew the potions, right? So there's a cut purse and then there's a begging monk. And if somebody has a lot of money, they are immediately a target for the begging monk, and you could get half of your money stolen at that point. Or the cut purse. No, the cut purse is stealing money. I think the begging monk's getting resources or something like that. So, you can't hoard resources. You're probably going to lose them, So it's that balance between how much do I have that's not too much, and when should I spend them to actually start brewing potions, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, and I, along with that, like you mentioned earlier, you can see people's resources around the table. You kind of guess what cards they're going to play based off of what they have.
Right.
And that just factors into that. Well, if I really want to go for that too, but clearly Kevin's going to play the card that, he pays a coin and gets 2 vials or 2 victory points essentially. So, there's so many fun nuances to this game.
Yeah. And you mentioned the vials. I think the vials are an interesting part of the game too, because you get vials, they're victory points at the end of the game. You put them under your card. So it's kind of hidden information. You don't know how many, unless you're paying really close attention, which it's easy to kind of not, you don't know how many vials people have at the end. So it can be the unknown as you get towards the end of the game of who's actually going to pull out the victory, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of games that this game is similar to, and there's only one that's very obviously what it's similar to, but like I can't think of other games that really do this very much. But if you have played and like Broom Service, then this game is taking that mechanic that is in Witch's Brew and then expanding upon it. And I don't know that I can think of other games that really do this type of a experience.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, if this game sounds interesting, we mentioned that it's out of print. Unfortunately, it's hard to find. You can find copies, but you may be paying a premium for those copies. So
There's copies on the BGG marketplace. I think I originally played your copy, Kevin.
Yep.
And then went out and got one secondhand years ago, and it was like $70, I think. So
yeah, and I think it's worth it. But if the mechanics sound interesting to you, and this game is doing sounds interesting, then maybe check out Broom Service, because it has a lot of similar mechanics to it, and it's a similar feel for the game. There's a board on that one. It's a little bit different, but it may be a good one to check out if this one sounds like fun to you. So that closes out our snapshot of Witch's Brew. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check out our full-length episodes. We discuss games that we've been playing, do deep dives and feature reviews, share top 5 lists on a variety of board game topics, and discuss all things board game related. For even more Longest Turn, check out our Discord server, Board Game Geek blog and guild, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to support the show, buy us some wooden eggs on buymeacoffee.com. All links and information are included in the show notes. Thanks for listening.
resource management,
there
risk assessment card game. No?
Risk assessment sounds like you're at work.
I know, I thought that too, but Witch's Brew.
My laugh is causing you pain?
Certain laughs that I do just make it like, oh, that hurt.
I just don't want you to pass out. Please, no passing out.
passing
Yeah,
out.
and no.
If you do, Kevin knows mouth to mouth better than I do.
Where did you find this information? I don't know.